Hey kids, welcome to section 2.5, Statement of Earnings. Today we're going to learn how to calculate your net pay per pay period. One of the things you should think about while we're doing this is why should you save for retirement? We're going to finally see how much you're going to have in your pocket after all your taxes are taken out. But what happens when you stop working and that money doesn't come in? You might want to start saving for retirement. All right, so some vocab to think about. You may have additional deductions that are taken from your gross pay for union dues, contribution to community funds, savings plans, maybe a retirement account contribution. And so your earnings statement is attached to your paycheck and it lists all of your deductions, your gross pay, and your net pay for the pay period. And so in chapter 1, we learned about gross pay and how that's the money you earn before taxes. Well, net pay is the title of chapter 2, and net pay is the amount of money you have left after your employer subtracts all your tax withholdings and personal deductions. Sometimes it's called net income, sometimes it's called take-home pay, but whatever it is, to find that net pay, you're going to take your gross pay and you're going to subtract all your deductions. Now we're going to organize this into a nice little table so that we can keep track of everything. There's a lot of stuff going on. So this is basically the whole chapter in one problem. Ron King is a single airline ticket agent who claims one allowance. His gross weekly pay is $1,320. Each week he has deducted federal, Social Security, and Medicare taxes, $2.50 for dental insurance, $26.20 for medical insurance, and $5 for union fees. Ron lives in Alaska, which has no state income tax. Find his weekly net pay. So he has no state income tax, so I'm going to put a line through state income tax. Let's see, let's try to fill in the table. Weekly gross pay is the first thing we need to fill in. His weekly gross pay is $1,320. I'll put a 0.00 just so we can see it. Now, weekly net pay is the whole point of the problem, so I need to find that answer. Let's go to the next row. FIT, that's your federal income tax. So we need to know single, we need to know one allowance, and we need to know weekly pay, $1,320. So let's go single, one allowance, and $1,320. Okay, we're on the single page. $1,320. That's going to take us to the back. $1,320. Nope, keep going, Yanka. $1,320. Right here. $1,320. It said he had one allowance, zero allowance, one allowance is $177. So our federal income is $177. SS is Social Security. Social Security is when you take your weekly gross pay, $1,320, and you multiply by the Social Security percentage, which is 0.062. If I multiply those two together, I get $81.84. Medicare, to calculate that, you're going to take your gross pay, $1,320, and you're going to multiply by the Medicare percentage, 0.0145. If I do that and round, I get $19.14. Keep going. Do I have dental? It says $2.50 for dental. Do I have any medical taken out? $26.20 for medical. Any union dues? Looks like $5 for union dues. Okay, did we cover everything in the problem? Yes, we did. So there are no other deductions. So first thing you want to do is you want to find all your total deductions. So take all of those numbers in the bottom row and add them all up. If you do that, your total deductions are $311.68. Now we're going to take that total deduction and we're going to take our weekly gross pay and we're going to take and subtract them. So to find the net pay, you're going to take the 1,320 and you're going to subtract the taxes or the deductions, $311.68. If I do that, I'm going to get a weekly net pay of $1,008.32. So notice that Ron is making $1,320 a week, but he's actually only taking home in his paycheck $1,008.32. That happens every time you have a job, kids. All right, let's do another one. This one is Brianna Ralph. She is a pastry chef. She is married and has 2 allowances. That means she has 2 kids. Her gross weekly salary is $450. She makes $450 a week. Each week she has the company deduct federal, Social Security, and Medicare taxes, $21.20 for medical insurance, and $50 for savings. She lives in Illinois, which has a flat income tax rate of 4.95%. What is her weekly net pay? All right, so we're looking for weekly net pay. We know weekly gross pay is $450. All right, so let's see. I need our federal income tax. Federal income taxes are fit. She is married. 2 allowances, $450 a week. So, married, $450 a week. So, we're looking at down here. And she had 2 allowances. So, 0, 1, 2 puts us at $6. So, our fit is $6. Social Security. Social Security is when you take your weekly pay, $450, and multiply by the Social Security percentage, 6.2%. If I do that, I get $27.90. Medicare, you're going to take your gross pay, $450, and you're going to multiply by the Medicare percentage, 0.0145 as a decimal. That's $6.53. State income tax is 4.95% of your income. So $450 times 4.95% is a decimal. So 0.0495. That's $22.28. Does Brianna have any dental? Looks like no. $21.20 for medical insurance. No union dues. $50 in savings. That can go in the other. So find your total deductions by adding everything up in that bottom row. So if I add the 6, $27.90, $6.53, $22.28, $21.20, and $50, add it all up, that's $133.91 in deductions. So we're going to go up to the top. We're going to take our weekly gross pay, $450, and we're going to subtract our deductions, $133.91. That's going to give me a weekly net pay of $316.09. Kids, if you're only making $450 a month, you might only be taking home $316.09. So make sure you get that job. All right. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. And as always, keep calm and keep trucking.